US President Joe Biden gave his traditional Thanksgiving speech on the weekend, and a vast majority of that speech focused on the hostages, the release of the 50 or so hostages that were held by Hamas. And we are all extremely grateful for their release and their safe return to their families.
Today, we can also be thankful of families being recruited and reunited with loved ones who have been held hostage for nearly 50 days. Early this morning, 13 Israeli hostages were released, including an elderly woman, a grandmother, and mothers with their young children, some under the age of 6 years old. Separately, several Thai nationals and Filipino nationals were also kidnapped by Hamas. We also remember all those who are still being held and renew our commitment to work for their release as well.
But what I found unnerving was the absence of any mention of the Palestinian hostages and the suffering, the tremendous suffering and death toll that the Palestinians have endured during this period. There was no sense of remorse or compassion for the Palestinians and their families around the world who've been enduring an incredible, immense trauma during this 7 weeks. The only reference to the Palestinian suffering that Biden made was to the humanitarian aid that was going to be allowed to come in truckloads now, hundreds of trucks that were going to be allowed in to help the suffering and ease the suffering of the Palestinians who were still alive. But no mention of the thousands and thousands, particularly the 8,000 or so children that had lost their lives.
I've been focused on accelerating the delivery of humanitarian assistance to Gaza in coordination with the United Nations and the Red Cross. I just spoke with my special envoy for the Middle East humanitarian issues, David Satterfield, for an update. And I've asked him to monitor our progress hour by hour and keep me personally informed.
Then Biden quickly changed tact and started talking about the political solution.
We need to renew our resolve to pursue this two-state solution where Israelis and Palestinians can one day live side by side in a two-state solution with equal measure of freedom and dignity. 2 states for 2 peoples. And it's more important now than ever.
Now, we all know and agree that the political solution is the only solution, and it's been the only solution for nearly 100 years because we all agree that this did not start on October 7. It did not start in 1948 with the Nabka. It actually started in 1922 with the British Mandate, when the real beginning of the persecution of the Palestinians began. But Thanksgiving is a time where we'd expect our leaders to reflect on our collective humanity and show consideration and compassion and gratitude for all human beings, for all God's creatures. If the President of the United States can pardon a turkey at Thanksgiving, could he not have a few words of compassion for the thousands of Palestinian souls that have been lost in this tragedy?